All right, welcome to our presentation. What we worked on all year was reducing field worker pesticides exposure. My name is Jack. This is Harry. We'll be doing this presentation today. So the company we worked with, I don't actually see our sponsor in here, but I guess we'll continue to keep going. But we worked with the UNL Department of Biological Systems Engineering. They aim to educate engineers and managers, conduct research, and use engineering to help Nebraska's biological systems. So they have a bunch of fields and different research that's going on over on East Campus and out by like UTAN, Nebraska. And the problem that they brought to us was that pesticides have a re-entry interval after being applied to a field. So anytime a farmer sprays any sort of pesticide on a field, a lot of products that are sprayed on the field require a certain amount of time before people enter the fields. So we were tasked with creating an application where field workers could easily visualize that and sort of reduce some of the problems that arise from workers walking into fields. So our stakeholders, like I said, I don't see them here, but Nathan Thorson, he's one of the product owners. He's like a grad student. He's actually started our project a little bit. Dr. Joe Luck, one of our other stakeholders, and Shatarika, they kind of brought her on to take over this project after we were finished with it. It was great to work with them this semester. We want to thank them for all their help and support. The advising team, Dr. Brady Garvin back there, Melanie Kugler-Wright, and our coach Brad White. We also want to thank all of them for all their help and support along this process. Development team, Harry over here was our development manager. I was our product manager. Joel Matson, developer. Morgan Larson, developer. And Charlie was one of our other developers. With that, I will pass it off to Harry to explain more about the problem.
Absolutely. I have a mic already.
You're right.
So our problem statement, pesticide exposure causes long-term serious health effects and is potentially fatal in large amounts. And this costs around $200 million annually to deal with these adverse effects, health effects from pesticide exposure. Safety standards currently rely on antiquated data collection system, analog, pen and paper, right? That's how the EPA currently tracks it, and complex communication systems. So the opportunity, reduce pesticide exposure via Spray Safely, our web application, a cloud-based near real-time application, which will give users access anywhere they are to active pesticide data, streamlining the communication process. And to integrate data from John Deere's system and manually enter data with pesticide information from the CDMS database. Good. Yep. And so this is what the solution we built looked like. So this is our landing page up here when you go to the website. And this is our login page. Next slide. And after you log in, you're presented with wherever you last left off on the map. So if you were to drag this to Colorado, log out, log back in, you'd be back in Colorado. This is a farm up in UTAN, Nebraska, that the UNL Biological Systems Engineering department uses. And here you can see actually 3 different field applications. And so an orange field application is one that you've just created and is going to be sprayed within the next 24 hours. A red application is one that has already finished and the re-entry interval is active, so it is unsafe to enter. And then when the re-entry interval expires, it turns to green. Next slide.
I'd also like to note that these automatically pull down from the John Deere API, so if they use a John Deere sprayer to spray their field, it'll automatically upload to their database, and we can actually pull that data in and update it live in time.
This is the ad application modal. And so you can see up here underneath test farm, ad application, clicking that opens up this modal and allows you to select a farm that already exists within your farm organization, fields that you've already created, applicators, enter in a date, the end time of that application, tank mixes, and you can add new tank mixes, what kind of application it is, as well as what equipment was used. And all these items that have an add button next to it, you can go in there and create fresh new ones as needed. And so this is the add field modal. It allows you to draw a boundary, shown here. Next. And so this is a view of drawing said boundary, and this is the boundary after it's been created. This is an interface with the John Deere API. So if you log in to Spray Safely, but you also have a John Deere account because you own a John Deere tractor or whatever, you can then log in through our website and link your John Deere account to your Spray Safely account, and then pull in that information that Jack was talking about. One of the last features we added to our application was the ability to invite new users to your organization, your farm, essentially. And this is what that invite feature looks like. And it allows you to give edit access or retain that access.
All right, so some of the value and highlights of our project throughout the year. So the value, we simplified tracking REI times, allowing for easier communication between all parties on farms and reducing risk to workers. So hopefully workers can pull out their phones, look where they're allowed to go and where they're not allowed to go. Some of our highlights throughout the semester: linking the John Deere and Spray Safely, integrating Spray Safely with the CDMS database, which stores all of the pesticide data, manual addition of application, drawing field boundaries, redesign of the database, invite feature, and colorblind accessibility, which we demonstrated. Finally, we learned a lot this year. Mainly, we got to work on a large project with some great stakeholders. So we were able to learn a lot about the software development lifecycle and the process going through that. We got experience with a lot of different technologies: Python, Flask framework, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, Leaflet, and MySQL, to name a couple. Thank you guys for coming to the presentation. Does anyone have any questions? All right, well, with that, we'd like to invite Dr. Luck up here. We have an award for you. So.
You should be giving that to Nate.
That's all right. You can pass it off to him, so there's that.
All right.
Thank you for all the help.
Yeah, you
this
guys are
semester.
welcome.